Hi, welcome back to our Sproutable Q&A. This week we have a question from a parent who wants to know when our children are monkeying around in their bedtime routine, is it okay to take something away from them? For example, not read books that evening, maybe not sing them their song, and really just end the routine right there. So here's what I'll say. I have been there. There are times when my young children have just been really not focused. Sometimes it's just that they're playing around. Sometimes I really feel like I'm in a power struggle, and it is so tempting to want to just say, that's it, I'm done, you're going to bed, lights out. And when I have tried that, which I have, it never feels good. I never feel good at the end of the evening. I feel regret the next morning. And in positive discipline, we really lean on routines, and specifically bedtime routines, for a variety of reasons. One is to build high-level skills for kids like executive functioning and independence and adaptive skills and cognitive skills and contributions and, just some social development. But the other piece why routines are really important is that we get to have this connection. We get to really have a deep connection with them. And often it's the routines that are the only time when we're with them throughout the day. Maybe they're at preschool, and so we just have the morning routines, and then they're at school and we're at work, and then we just have the evenings together too. So those are the really connection times that we have with them. And so when we can let routines be the boss and be able to just have connection through the transitions, then we're able to really focus in on each other and not be so naggy or be in the power struggle with them. So when we bump up against the power struggles, or we bump up against them really getting distracted, then I always recommend to parents to lean into connection first, okay? So let's say you've really used fun, you've used playfulness, you've used songs, you've gotten into what they're into, you've been like, let's be dinosaurs, or hop on the bedtime train, choo-choo, and let's go get our pajamas on. And it still feels like this routine is going longer and longer and longer. We are the ones with the executive functioning. So I recommend to parents saying, really being mindful of that. Like if it feels like, okay, we still haven't gotten our pajamas on, we still have to brush our teeth, we still need to do a little tidy up of the room and read books, and we're like getting close to time, then that's on us, right? That's when we really want to lean in more to the connection and, oh my goodness, we're down to our personal record. Let's see if we can, let's see what we can do within 2 minutes. We're in a race. We're at the finish line. We can really turn on the gas in that way too and try to speed things along. And so instead of just using threats, the more that we can lean into those connection pieces can actually bring them closer to us and move them faster. So whenever you feel that pull, like you want to just give them the threat, instead, notice that, be aware of that. It's totally normal, of course, and use that signal, use that awareness as, ooh, this is where I need to actually lean into connection. This is where I need to find the fun and be playful so that I can really invite their cooperation. The other piece that I really recommend is to stack your routine where the end point is actually being in bed and reading them those books. When you have, up until 7:30, if 7:30 is the time that you start reading books and it's 7:20 or 7:25 and they're still kind of slowly getting their pajamas on, at 7:30, you get to sit into bed, start pulling out the books and start reading. You can say, oh, I'm slowly opening the first page. Quick, get those jammies on. Quick, brush your teeth so we can get to that first page. And they'll really speed it up too, because they see that at 7:30, that's when you start reading books. The other piece, just specifically around books, is you get to decide. If you only have a certain amount of time, you're reading the short books. You're only reading part of a chapter. But you still want to have the consistency of reading books. And so, again, with this piece, it adds to the connection. It adds to their brain development. We want them to love books. We want them to have a love of learning and reading. And so to use that as a threat or to take that away only invites them to have a more negative association with that. So always want to leave books and as part of the routine. One trap that parents can fall into is expecting their child to lead the momentum. And so it's natural for kids to get absorbed into something or follow their interest into something else. And this is one of their superpowers, to have that focus where they get really into something and it's hard for them to switch gears again and keep hopping, from one thing to the next in the routine. So you as the grown-up really get to take the lead on that momentum. So if you notice they're really lagging or getting distracted by something, you pick up the energy and you keep moving along or guiding them to the next thing, almost like you're inviting them to the next station, because they don't know what it is otherwise. They won't be as excited to look towards that next thing because they're so involved in what it is that they're already doing. So one way I like to support kids with this is using a little transition object through. So it might be a stuffy that's like hanging out with us and is our routine buddy for the night. And you're saying, oh, hold on, our little friend Froggy is saying, hey, I've already started hopping over to the bathroom, to guide them over. But you get to be that leader in the momentum and the energy of that. And then the last piece, and I've had a lot of families ask me this too, not just this parent, but say, I want to just turn off the lights and walk out the door, and then they'll really learn their lesson. But remember that kids learn lessons and grow when they feel safe, when they feel connected, when they feel integrated and securely attached. And the consistency and the ritual of singing the song and tucking them in and snuggling and telling them that you love them is so much more profoundly important for their development than necessarily having the compliance of their behavior the next day. So I know that it's tempting, you're not alone, and think about the ways to be solution focused and rearrange the routine so that it is more efficient for you, and maybe consider having the end part of the routine starting at a specific time so you can really use that as your end time marker. And in the meantime, make sure to use your visual routines so that you can invite your kiddo to say, all right, what's next? Where are we at? And have connection with them, finding the fun throughout the transitions. So thank you so much for writing in, and we'll see you next time. Real moments are learning moments.